Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon everyone. So I'm Siti Fadila Tambong, student from the third semester in English Language Education Study Program, University of Muhammadiyah Lubanggai. So in this video, I will summarize several topics discussed by several sources in Virtual International Research Exchange and Sharing 2024 or VIRES 2024, which was carried out in via Zoom meeting, with the topic about research paradigms in education, real-world application and implication. The material, the topic from the first speaker, Dr. Subhatra Seladurai, talk about new education policy. So she discusses some of the highlights of the new education policy that gives importance to research and student skill development to produce outcome-based education. Research today relies on both qualitative and quantitative data. Often we focus so much on quantitative data research that we neglect qualitative data, and this approach may not capture the nuance and context-dependent nature of educational problems that are not included in practice. So this then makes the traditional research paradigms disconnected from classroom practice, making it difficult for translator to find out for educator, researcher, who in turn get a slow response to change in traditional research approaches, so hindering the application of appropriate teaching methods and policies in the application of evolving research in the real world. The mixed method paradigm is how we combine qualitative and quantitative data approach over a more comprehensive understanding of educational phenomena. And in conclusion, it is argued the evolving paradigm research in education can overcome the weakness of traditional approaches by emphasizing the relevance of stakeholder engagement, adaptability, and real-world applicability. And second speaker from Philippines is Professor Dr. Chris Zita. He talked about coping to the needs of the 21st century learners through research. So in his discussion, he talks about why we need to do action research, because it follows the research process that starts from a problem, collecting data, or a design method. So there is a difference. He talked about there is a difference between action research and traditional research. In the traditional research is conducted by university lecturers or academics, while action research is conducted by teachers or leaders of the institution itself. So the traditional research environment is more controlled, while action research deals with the school or classroom environment. It's more controlled classroom environment to look for some problem. And for traditional research, he uses a rigorous research designed to show the cause effect of the main research relationship given error education. So while if we talk about action research, if we talk about action research has less control producer to understand the impact of some educational interpretation and change made during the research itself. Meanwhile, why we need to study or conduct traditional research is to obtain generalized knowledge to develop and test educational theories, whereas education research is to acquire knowledge that can be applied directly in local classroom situation and to provide in-service training to participating teachers. And this of course answer why we need to action research so that we can provide immediate solution or action before it becomes a bigger problem in the school environment. So there are several phases of the action research, namely problem identification, plan of action, data collection, analysis of data, and plan for future action. And in this discussion, mention some important points about action research also. First, action research is a practical way for individuals to explore the nature of their practice and improve it. And second, action research encourages practitioners to become knowledge makers. And third, action research bridge the gap between theory and practice. Action research uses action as a means of research, and fifth, action research starts from encountering problem to process through a process of planning, action, and replication. Open action, and sixth, action research is carried out by individuals, but these individuals may work collaboratively. And seven, action research may use a variety of research methods, both qualitative and quantitative. And the last, action research produces results that are not generalizable. And in the last, action research also has a purpose, namely building the reflective practitioner and making progress on school-wide priorities, and last, building professional cultures. So that is discussion from the material from the second speaker, and next we move into the third speaker is Professor Dr. Supaprawat Siriti Pattanakul. He talked about business intelligence and digital intelligence for contemporary organizational design. So about artificial intelligence and digital technology in the field of education, business, and healthcare. The topic is about research paradigm in education in liberal application in education. So for the introduction, when we talk about the contemporary study in management, it means that we can do the management research in any field. For example, in the future of the business interview of education and industry of healthcare, sometimes we have to do the business interview of education and industry of healthcare. Sometimes we have to do integration research between 2 or 3 of the sector. Is mean that is the considered is as the integration research. That's why he don't mention only for the field of education, because they have the professor faculty member in the field of business, in the field of healthcare, and the faculty of medicine or faculty under 16 for each other. So, and when they apply for the contemporary setting in management, is mean that they have to apply the year 8 for education, for teaching, or for learning. And that's the definition of the contemporary education, and they talk in business intelligence and the definition of digital in the real world application. And application mean that the study in management is that contemporary research, and as he mentioned before, is not only in the field of education, because faculty is field of education on business and faculty of medicine are the dentistry of or healthcare. Public health is in the educational sector. So because it's the for many faculties of it in this institution, education in the field of business, education and healthcare, and they can apply for computer science and technology to adapt to contemporary study in management. And next, the summarize from the fourth speaker is Dr. Hardianti. She talk about uploading excellence in research practices. So sometimes we find it difficult to doing research to figure out what we should do first before we do research. So Memanti explain about there are some tips if we have to, or what we should do first before we do research. So Memanti explained to get an edge research, first is visualization and values. To get a good topic for research, this is necessary from researchers, although very professional research visualize what interests them, and also values, how we value the phenomena in our environment, how we get the opportunity to research something in our environment, how we get the and also visualization and values are part of ontology, epistemology, and axiology paradigm. Based on the ontology, we are given time to determine what we will research and find out what things to research as research questions. And the axiology is how useful the phenomenon we choose is. And the second tips is integrity. Integrity is about honesty. With respect to honestly, and how careful we are in conducting research, such as the extent to which we collect the data without manipulating data. So, and the next tips is rigorous and systematic ways are needed to conduct our research in any way. From it, what research we choose, whether qualitative or quantitative, or even both types. So we must ensure that epistemological and methodological they are on the same page. And the next tip is encouragement. Encouragement is very important, because when we do research and sometimes we feel confused, so here we need external and internal encouragement for ourselves, and we need also the encouragement of participants who take part in our research, of course. And the last tips is safety. Safety is the first thing we do, for example, in choosing certain instruments, such as a student or a lecturer conducting scientific research in the world of chemistry. Then safety is something that must be considered, and research also needs to consider the ethics. So that is material from the first speaker, and next we move into the last speaker, is Dr. Andi Asrifan. he talked about healthy curriculum and material development. So in this material, I just talk a little bit that he was explained. So I summarize, we must consider the curriculum and its value context to be informed of its goals and objectives, and facility resources where teacher must be realistic in accessing research will impact back on decision in material design and personal confidence, so where knowledge, experience, attitudes, and how to use the G-line correctly. Next is copyright competency, where the implementation of restructuring and also awareness that must be considered by curriculum designers, especially for teachers. And the last time, how much time we and the last is time. Yeah? How much time we use in sharing materials, working in teams, and organization materials. So that's all my summary. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.